sometimes, I'm like surprised like how someone that's like an older man and like how what kind of
It's weird.
what do you relate to? Look at the bottom one, Steven Tyler with his girlfriend. It's not like his wife at the moment, but girlfriend, 39 years difference.
That's pretty weird.
74, she's 35. But you know how I always look at these? I'm always like, so he was 39 and she was born.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
So imagine.
Oh my goodness, that's pretty strange to think about.
Just think about it like that.
Actually, we didn't really answer that question.
I mean,
think about it.
Yeah, we didn't go in depth. I would say, okay, so let's start. Yeah, with the men tend to date younger women. Like why is that? Yeah, like exactly. Why don't men, let's say, date 1 to 2 years older women? Even it's always looking down.
Yeah, I think I know the answer, and I think it comes down to at that point, if you're that person that's ill, do you go on Tinder and try to match with someone?
Is that like ethical?
Is it like ethical?
That's a good question. Welcome to Philosophically Deep.
Yeah, here we go.
Here's a fun fact. The person who had one of the biggest age gaps was Welcome to Curiousaholic. My name is Haiko, and I'm joined here by my good buddy Evan.
Hey, Earthlings.
So, before we get into today's podcast, here's a quick rundown of how the podcast works. So, in each episode, one of us comes up with an interesting topic that they are curious about and reveals it live to the other person in the hopes to spark a deep discussion and further our knowledge of the world around us.
We're back to our regular format.
Hell yeah.
I was about to cry during that intro.
Was a bit sad for you?
It was sad, but I'm also happy to be back, so it's good.
It's good, yes. I'm happy too. So this is our, official episode back into the game, back into it.
Back into real life.
Yeah, back to reality.
Back to the Curiousaholic life.
Exactly. Let's jump right into it. So I didn't give you a theme before starting. We usually kind of give each other like an idea of like, okay, this is the theme of the episode. But this time I didn't really want to give it because it might have kind of revealed the topic. So what did you kind of guess from, what it was playing there?
I know my guess earlier when he was practicing was it sounded like kind of like finality, like the ending of something.
Okay.
I don't know. That's what I got from it.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, we'll roll with it.
Okay.
Well, let us begin as always with the teaser. Okay. So on the screen, I have 4 pairs of numbers. Okay, I'm not gonna say what they are, what they signify.
Okay, I see 69 there.
You have to go right on to that. Huh?
Hey, you put it there.
Okay. No, it does not signify that. So let's just take that out of the book. So yeah, you have these 4 pairs of numbers. So I just want you to go over them and tell me for each one, I'm not going to tell you what they signify, but like which one do you feel is right and which one do you feel is like wrong?
Interesting.
I'm not going to say why, but you'll see.
Should I say the pair of numbers?
Yeah, so just start and say, okay, for the first one, I feel like this is,
Okay, so the first pair of numbers is 30 and 40. Is that? I guess that's like interval of like 10. So I don't know. That feels right to me, I guess.
Okay.
Then the next one is 44 and 69. That's just wrong because that's 69 in it.
Okay.
55, 35 has a 5 common, so I would say that's right. And then 74, 35. I feel like those numbers just don't make sense. So I'm just going to say that's wrong.
Okay, interesting. So just by looking at the numbers arbitrarily, you feel some pairs are, make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so then by just looking at this, do you have a guess of what it could be and what I'm talking about? You're like going a bit more math on this, but...
Like compatible people. Oh, okay. I'm onto something.
You're onto something.
Compatibility.
Okay.
Like a couple.
Oh, okay. So basically, what these numbers are the ages of these different celebrities and
I like this.
public
Interesting.
figures. So basically, the topic is about age gaps.
Cool. All right. That's pretty interesting.
so
It's
this-
that was a good way to like present it. It's cool.
I know, because you don't expect what these numbers mean, but then I reveal, and that's the age difference. So here, you have like Nick Jonas with Priyanka Chopra. They have a 10-year difference. They're the big one with Emmanuel Macron, which is the president of France, with his wife, who's 69. They have a 25 years difference. So yeah, you see, like,
Interesting.
Sometimes the woman's older, sometimes the man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I, wanted to talk about today, because I think, it's an interesting thing that happens in our society.
Yeah.
We've spoken about relationships before, but, age gap relationships are a bit more.
Yeah, we
unique.
haven't done a topic on relationships in a while.
Yeah.
So here we are again.
About love. And
Yeah.
so my theme was kind of,
Wasn't that our first episode?
Yeah, our first ever was about soulmates. Yeah, exactly.
You see the trend here.
See,
So our first ever episode was a love episode.
Listen, it wasn't intended
I
to be
know.
this way.
Yeah, because
This was supposed to be
right.
just regular before we stopped.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like our every time we come back from a long break, it's gonna be about love.
It's got to be about love. Yeah, nothing's more important about than love.
Yeah. Let's do it. Sounds cool.
Let's get into it. Okay, so just to explain, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, but what is an age gap relationship? I mean, it's basically a relationship between two people where the age gap is around 10 years or more. So, okay, someone who's like 4 or 5 years older than you is not really considered age gap. But I would say once, you're pushing like 7, 8 and over, you're starting to get into, that
territory.
significant gap between you and your partner.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, this can differ based on culture, age of person status, current societal norms. Like let's take age of person, someone who's 20 and dates someone who's 5 years younger than them, that is weird. But
Yeah.
if a person is 25 dating someone 30, it's the same age gap, but it has a different
like consequences,
significance,
I guess. Yeah, or significance.
But yeah, what we're going to talk about here is anyone who's an adult, so 18 plus, you can date whichever person you want, and we're going to look at, is there an influence? Is it good or bad?
Yeah. And I feel like culture is a big one on that one, like for like the influence it has.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Looking at like older culture, well, like in the past, basically how like young, let's say women, teenagers would get married off to older men.
Yeah.
Like that was normal.
There was
back
like
then.
selective marriages and stuff like that.
Yeah, arranged marriage.
Yeah.
So we're going to look at all of that. So the main question that's going to be in this episode is age really just a number?
That's a good title for our episode.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, you're right.
There it is.
I didn't think of that. Boom. That's our title. Is age really just a number? Because, yeah, a lot of people just say age is just a number. It doesn't matter. But does it?
It's funny because that statement, that question right there kind of relates to the way you presented the teaser, right? I was just trying to make like a correlation between numbers, like without really paying attention to like really the gap between. No, I did look at the gap a little bit. But now like on the screen it was just numbers. But now that you think about it in a context of like a relationship, it becomes more than that, I guess, right?
It does, yeah.
Or does it?
Well, yeah. Well, that's what we're going to discuss.
Talk about,
is it just really a number? And regarding this, I just put like a funny meme that I love, where it says, "Love is love. It doesn't matter what race, what age, what religion." And then you see like here it shows someone who's 10 years old with a 36-year-old, and you have the meme of Jerry looking up like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, what the fuck?
Because I guess someone had made this post of like love is love, and they put these images, and they put for ages a 10 with a 36-year-old, but I guess they didn't realize that that doesn't
add up, right?
That doesn't work
Yeah.
there. It's kind of pedo territory. So yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna look at the different factors at play when it comes to age gap relationship. The first being emotional maturity, right? Someone who's older than you might have more maturity in their emotional realm. So if there's a big gap in that, there's a higher chance of conflict. If someone is like younger and kind of more immature and childish, you can't expect them to act a certain way. Like a lot of times you see, or like on these TLC shows, right? You have an older man who goes to like marry some young woman from some other country,
like a sugar daddy or something.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, she's such a child. I can't deal with her." It's like, "What, dude? What do you expect?"
Yeah, I mean, you chose her. Like, I mean, or you let her be with you. That's another thing, right?
Or that, yeah. So you can't expect them to be to your level of maturity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and higher age gaps can make it harder to connect when you have vast differences in life experiences. Sometimes, I'm like surprised, like how someone that's like an older man and like you're like, what kind of,
Yeah, what kind of like connection do you really have with someone that's like half your age? Or it's weird.
What do you relate to?
Yeah, it's a weird difference in reality, I guess, right? Like one person lived 35 years more than the other one. It's like, what the fuck?
It's it's almost like a lifetime.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't, but whatever.
Well, yeah, some people, that's the thing. I mean, it's a choice, and I don't want to judge, but that's what we're
that's what we're gonna do.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna judge fairly. There also seems to be a correlation between higher divorce rates and bigger age gaps, which I guess kind of makes sense.
Kind of makes sense, right?
Because
I feel like people that are more like-minded end up being more or less of the same like generation, or of around the same age. If you have two people that are super like different in age, then one's gonna have such a difference in mentality compared to the other one, so could cause conflict and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Different values, different priorities, so that's always an issue. So some questions regarding this. Are women generally more mature at a younger age, thus can date much older men?
Yeah, well, I know sexual maturity happens earlier in a woman, right? That's just a thing.
Yeah.
And also I think it's like a biological thing that women like more mature men because like, they could provide more and they have their life put together. And I think that's just attractive for a woman, right? To date older men, and that's just I don't know, not being sexist or anything. It's just how it is. It's like if you ask a lot of women, they'll say that they prefer an older man, and that's just how it is. But yeah, there's definitely some women that they'll date younger men and they'll give a shit about that.
Okay.
So I guess it does depend, but like I do think generally women do mature quicker than men do. Yeah.
Well, I know it has been proven that women do, mature, like just emotionally as well, not just like physically speaking, they become like a lady at an early age, but men, like emotionally, it's just the way their physiology is made. They just become more mature.
Exactly.
Like that's why you can have like, let's say a 20-year-old or the 22-year-old dating, 30, 35-year-old and, a man, because they sort of like match in terms of like their emotional maturity.
Well, that's just the thing. I feel like women just evolve faster than men in the sense where, first of all, physically they become more mature quicker. That's just fast. The thing, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, you compare like let's say a 22-year-old woman compared to a 22-year-old man. Like a lot of times it's like, what the fuck? The child, like the guy still looks like a kid almost. The woman looks like she could like conceive kids like already. Yeah. Like it's weird. So like a lot of times I think women that are like let's say in their 20s, they go for someone like a guy that's in their 30s because like the guy had more time to mature and physically and I guess in all other aspects of life.
In his life, yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's other aspects like financial stability, career, whatnot.
And that's a big one.
That's yeah. Sometimes they look past the age because of that,
Yeah.
If you have the dough, they come for you. No. So yeah, and kind of tied with that question, is it true that men mature emotionally later in life?
Yeah. I think that's kind of on the same. Well,
Like
Yeah.
even me personally, or I guess for you, I don't know. I find that it takes me a bit longer. You know, it's like past 24, 25 is when I started to
Yeah.
become
Yeah,
a bit more mature.
exactly. And if we just look at like both our lives, let's say, right?
Mm.
If you look at before we were like 24, 25,
Mm-hmm.
we had we had goals, but it wasn't like well defined.
Yeah.
And even now, it's still not,
It's still-
like
we're
well
still
defined.
figuring
We're
it
still
out.
figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I mean, like now I kind of have an idea where I want to go and what I want to do. But before, it was just like I was kind of just going with the flow every day and not giving a shit. Just
Yeah.
kind of
Just
living my
concerned
life.
with having fun
Yeah,
and like
having fun, kind
being
of
with friends and
being with friends. Yeah. So yeah.
yeah, whereas women might, much quicker be like, okay, I might, look for a partner or someone or
Yeah.
be open to relationships.
And I think a lot of that it comes a lot from physiology, where women need to conceive quicker than men do, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah, that's the other aspect. There's like a so-called clock ticking for
Yeah.
them, where if they want to have a family, kids, and
Yeah.
which I think maybe that is a reason why they mature.
Yeah, of course. That's the
faster.
thing. That's a lot of it is that. I mean, if we can't really look past physiology that much because it comes from that, right? Like one of
That influence.
like our purposes in life is to procreate, and
Yeah.
we both men and women have like a biological clock, and women it ends up being earlier. That's
Earlier.
all it is.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about this once on another episode.
Really?
Yeah, we were talking about like the end of the human race.
Oh, okay. Which episode was that? Forgot.
Well, the episode with the like the diminishing sperm
oh,
counts.
okay.
and-
Yeah. The EDCs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Where like in that book that I read, Countdown, there was some doctor that had said, I mean, some women might get offended, but he was saying like women have a best by date of 35.
Oh my God. Yeah. This I remember we had spoken about that.
Yeah, it's a bit like rough there, but basically, yes, a lot of women aim for that age 35 where they say, well, because it is true, because the older you get past that, the risk of like, deformities, Down
exactly.
syndrome.
And that's how we had brought it up, right? We had talked about how like after a certain age, if a woman decides to conceive, then there's a risk for the baby to have all kinds of, abnormalities and such. So
Yeah. So, whether they want to, whether women in our modern times want to admit it or not, they kind of have that in the back of their minds. They always want to be like, oh, I'll push it. I'll, be independent. I'll pursue a career and all this thing. But, unfortunately, you can't escape your own biology and human nature.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's kind of ingrained in their minds. So yeah, in terms of the maturity, I think women are able to date older men because, like we said, they mature faster. It's almost like let's say if a woman at 20 gets to the level 10 maturity, a man might need to go to like age 30 to be at the level 10 maturity. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
So in that sense, it makes sense. Yeah. Some statistics here. Before we go to the second factor, is to look at American heterosexual married couples, so straight couples, by age difference where the husband is older. So where the husband is older at least 20 years, it's only 1% of relationship. So it's not a lot, but 1% can be, significant, I guess, in the population.
20 years is a long time, though. It's like it's crazy to think about.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, in some of the examples before I showed you, there was the most that I saw there, it was, okay, let me just go back here.
Yeah, no problem.
Just for the sake of showing the example. Okay.
25 years.
No. Look at the bottom one. Steven Tyler with his girlfriend. It's not like his wife at the moment, but girlfriend, 39 years difference.
That's pretty weird.
74, she's 35.
Steven Tyler doesn't really look like he's 74, though.
Yeah, because he's, like dyed his hair and everything, and
probably some plastic surgery and shit.
Yeah, his face kind of looks weird though.
Yeah, I mean,
weird. Yeah, but if you take all of that, I mean, yeah, he looks.
With all the drugs he did, I'm surprised he looks that good.
I don't know. I beg to differ, honestly.
He doesn't look that bad for 74. I've seen 74-year-olds that look way worse than that. Come on.
Yeah, I guess, but Yeah, but anyways, I mean, the age difference is like astronomical, and well, no, not astronomical. We'll see later, but 39 is a lot. You know, that's like that is like a whole life. But you know how I always look at these? I'm always like, so he was 39, and she was born.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
So imagine.
Oh my goodness, that's pretty strange to think about.
Just think about it like that. Or the people who are like 20 years difference or 25. So right now I'm 26. I'm going to be like, okay, so right now the lady of my dreams was born and I'm going to marry her.
That's pretty weird.
It is, right? But, once you're an adult and age is just a number. But is it? Well, that's
what we're trying to figure out, people.
Exactly. That's our goal. So going back to the other slides. So husbands who are older 20 years is 1%. 15 to 19 is 1.6. 10 to 14 is 5. So, you have quite a bit of people in the 10 to 14. Like you see in the example.
Yeah, right. Like, see, this example here is not too bad.
Yeah. Like I find with men being around the 10, 11 is, I guess it's a bit more acceptable. I guess than like a woman being 10 to 11 years.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. But again, it's a choice.
Yeah.
But
it comes down to that thing, like, do women like dating younger men? I don't know. Maybe past a certain age doesn't matter as much. Maybe that's why, right? Let's say they're past the point of conceiving children and shit, right?
Okay, like older?
Like older. Then do you really care about dating younger man? Does that really matter?
Maybe, I guess it doesn't, I guess if everyone's past 40, let's say.
Yeah,
okay.
Like at past 40.
Like let's say the woman's 50 and you're 40, yeah.
But by 40, the man already reached like, a decent level of maturity, right? That the woman's not going to care that much anymore.
And I guess if the woman's past the time for having babies as well, so there's that out of the picture. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But I find that a lot of times if a woman dates a younger guy, it's because, he is,
he's
young.
packing.
He's packing. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see what the woman after. Okay, I have another one with women. So yeah, you see like this, like the example you with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I mean, honestly, can you even tell that he's like 11 years older than her?
No, really not. I mean, doesn't seem that way,
right? But it kind of also proves the point of like women maturing more.
Yeah.
So Blake, being at 35 is sort of on the same level as Ryan being at 46.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying that she looks like old, but Ryan. I guess they're celebrities as well, and whatever pictures here look nice, but
yeah, I mean. Ryan Reynolds looks good for his age. I mean, 46.
He's a Chad.
He's a Chad.
Yeah. So then, 6 to 9 years older is 11% around. 4 to 5 is 12.8. 2 to 3 is 19.6. So you see a lot of that is there. 1 to 2 is 33, right? So you see 1/3 of relationships, most of the time the husband is a couple of years older. And if you add from 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 basically is around like 54.
Yeah, more than half of marriages.
More than half. So and I think that's kind of like a sweet spot where the man is like around 2 to 3 years older.
Yeah. That's my case.
That's your case. Yeah, exactly.
2 years.
Where it's not like a huge difference and you kind of can, vibe together and not be too different.
Yeah. I feel like you relate more, right? I mean, if you're only like 2 years or 3 years apart, like it's not that different.
Yeah, exactly. And in terms of like your cultural influences and kind of what you can talk about, and
exactly.
Sometimes that's the thing. Let's say if you're like 20, 30 years different, you're like, back in the 80s,
Yeah, it's like weird. Like, how do you relate? I don't know. It's strange.
It's like, bro, that's cap. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's lit, dude.
That's lit, dude.
I wish I was in the 80s. Must have been fire.
Wake me up before you go. So, yeah. All right. Next factor at play is life priorities, right? Kind of we mentioned before. So if there's a mismatch, someone is like, I'm ready to have a family, some kids, but the girl's like, nah, I just want to go out and party with my friends, and I want to live my life. I want to be independent. Well, that's going to be, point of friction. Or an example here, if the woman is older and wants kids, but the man is still young, not ready, then that can strain the relationships. And I find, that sometimes, a bit older women who are reaching 30 or a bit, closer to the age of having kids might, go with a younger dude, and the dude might get, like, I don't know, seduced or like, think like he's got it. I got this, I could be a man soon, But a lot of times
when it comes down to it, like, you're not ready.
You're not ready, So men out there, don't get fooled, easily and think that you got this, that you could do it. You got to think.
Take your time.
Yeah, exactly. Take your time because...
Yeah, I mean, if you're with a girl that's like, putting you down that path and is putting pressure on you to like start a family and shit, but you're not ready, but she's like forcing you, then you're better off with someone else, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just be real with yourself, Don't say like, oh, okay, I'll get this figured out, I'm going to do this,
No, because like if you actually go down that road and you actually have kids and then like you weren't ready, then, the kid is going to suffer. How is that fair? Like it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. You're just going to create more trouble.
Exactly.
Because now you have a dependent.
It's like the way I look at it is like, how am I going to take care of a kid if I can't even take care of myself?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I know it's kind of cliche to say that, but at the same time, it's kind of true though, right? If you're still a kid. Yeah, if you're still a kid, how the fuck are you going to grow another kid? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Exactly. So, that's a question to take into account for young dudes dating like an older girl. Let's say if you're in your 20s and she's getting close to 30, it can be tricky unless you're some, rich person already at a young age, but
some kind of like
Bitcoin
it. Fucking teenager guy.
Crypto millionaire.
Yeah.
I got this,
Yeah, but see, that's another thing. Like those people that got rich like instantly like that, did they really develop that maturity through like, hard work, like through those steps of becoming a man? Or did they get rich
just
and
by
then
luck?
Right, and then they went 10 steps forward, but they missed all that development, in between.
Getting there. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Just because you have the money, you're financially stable, but you might not be mentally or emotionally.
Exactly. So I'm sure a lot of those, people that got super freaking rich through crypto are not
they're
happy.
Still ready.
And they're not, I don't think they're mature necessarily. Like, maybe they blew all their money after. Like, you don't know.
Or that too. Yeah, exactly. So I guess that doesn't prove anything, really.
Yeah.
Until you actually mature and are ready to take on responsibility. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of priorities that can, include is health, energy levels, life goals, education, starting a family. Energy levels, right? If someone just wants to go out, do things, and you're just like, I just want to watch TV and settle down, right?
Yeah, it's two different, I guess, spectrums, right? Like some people have a lot of energy, some people just don't. Like, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean, it's like older people have less. It could even be younger people who are just more chill in nature and less,
or there could be other factors, right? Like pre-existing conditions and whatever can make you have less energy. I mean, that's how it is.
That too. So talking about health, so one of the first questions, should people get in a relationship with older people that are likely to have health issues and need caring?
This is a question for me.
Is it?
I don't know. I have like a health issue.
Oh, well, no, I mean, in the sense that, let's say, I don't know, let's say you're a young woman and you're dating this older dude who's, getting close to
I see.
In that sense. No, not that I'm saying like, obviously anyone can get sick and it's like, I'm not going to date you because you're probably going to...
Yeah, you have something or whatever. Yeah.
But I mean, something where you're like, okay, this person is getting old and they're obviously going to have, issues and need caring.
Yeah.
So should you get in a relationship?
Yeah. It kind of reminds me, how like we elected a president in the U.S. that's like of old age.
Who is that? What are you talking about?
Kind of reminds me of that. But we won't say his name. Byron?
Byron. Oh, you don't know what I'm...
I don't know what that is.
No. It's like this video of like they were just interviewing. It's like a funny interview outside and it's like this old guy and they're telling him like I don't know what the question is, but the guy's like, who? Byron? Who? Byron? I'll show you after.
Oh,
It's
that's
funny.
So yeah, back to the question.
Yeah.
Okay, so should you like invest in someone that's older that you might be worried that that person has like you know, might be coming of age to have like real health, you know,
And
problems.
I need caring, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's something to think about, right? Like,
Or I
it's-
guess you love that person so much that you are willing to accept that sooner or later they're gonna.
yeah, but I guess it depends like what your relationship would be, right? Like, let's say, okay, you want to have like kids with that person. Let's say this person, okay, that's one thing. Could the person even have kids? That's one.
If they're already getting.
Yeah, if they're getting of age, could they conceive? Second of all, if you do plan on having a family and whatever, like, will that person be able to help you grow your children, right? If the answer is no, and your goal is to have children, then probably not a good idea, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me being honest.
Okay.
So that's how I look
that's
at it.
one factor of having kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's good, I would say. But let's say not.
Yeah,
Let's say-
that's what I meant. So it depends on your goals, right? If your goal is to have a family, then maybe not. If your goal is not to have a family and you don't care about
Just
having
to,
kids, just being with someone, okay, then yeah, why not?
Okay.
That's how I look at it.
Okay, so you would say it comes down to if the person is willing to do that or not, to take care of.
It's a personal choice, I guess. But it, like I said, just depends on what your goal is with a relationship, right?
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess it's a personal choice, you know. Me personally, I don't know. It's like, what are you signing up for?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. I mean, what are you signing up for?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's I guess there's no right or wrong. It's
If you're full of energy and you're
you're choosing to care.
that also kind of reminds me of like when I went to buy my dog when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's like, you're choosing the dog for you, and like, yeah, I'm someone who has a lot of energy, but like, I don't know. I chose the dog that had the most freaking energy possible. Like, I chose a Jack Russell, and like, looking back, I was like, damn, why the hell did I choose a Jack Russell? Obviously, I love my dog and everything, but like, he was so energetic. It was
Hyperactive.
insane. And it's like the difference in personalities was like, man, this is not the best possible match, I guess. It's weird, you know?
Yeah, even animals and pets, you have to find something
Yeah.
matched
Compatible.
to your- Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, I guess it comes down to, if you're willing to, if it matches your energy levels and how much you're willing to give to that person.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is it that men tend to date younger women, and to follow that, why is it that women tend to date older men? Okay, I mean, I guess we kind of
answered that already.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting to look at it from the other perspective, right? I mean, okay, so we answered why women want to date older men.
Yeah.
But why? Actually, we didn't really answer that question. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, we didn't go in depth, I would say. Okay, so let's start, with the men tend to date younger women. So, like why is that? Yeah, like exactly. Why don't men, let's say, date 1 to 2 years older women even? It's always, looking, down.
Yeah, I think I know the answer. And I think it comes down to physiology and biology again a little bit. Well, okay, so when is a woman in her, prime, let's say? Like
In her prime?
like
yeah.
physically.
Physically, yeah, like mid-20s kind of. Yeah.
So a man is going to be most attracted to a girl that's like younger.
That's in his
because
that's in her.
that woman already reached that level of maturity at that younger age. So they tend to look for that, like a woman. I mean,
Yeah, I think that is the case that, men look at, signals of fertility, how good you are to bear children, how wide the hips are to accommodate that. Yeah, I mean, like beauty, physically speaking, attractiveness, that is important, and that's like their prime, right? Honestly, yeah, I think that's kind of like the major.
yeah, and I think it just works both ways, right? A woman looks at an older man because a man is more attractive as they age.
And that's the thing, prime for men,
Exactly.
I would say is kind of past
Under
30,
30s or
35.
35.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess it makes sense. But also, so why do women tend to date older men? Well, there's a reason. I don't know if you've heard of like the women tend to date. What do they say? Like left, like higher in status and higher in like
Andrew Tate.
No, actually, no. It's actually Jordan Peterson who says that. I think it's called hypergamy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Hypergamy.
Yeah. So
there's this guy on YouTube. You've seen him before. He's like this bald dude with like.
Oh yeah, like yeah.
That's all he talks about. Something about cars or whatever.
Yeah, he's a bit of a like.
Yeah, he talks about like
entrepreneur or something.
Entrepreneurs and cars.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. He has a channel that's like all
like
he talks
beard.
about. Yeah. Talks about it like all the time on his podcast about like, I don't know.
Women are this, women are that.
Yeah. A lot of shit talking.
Women like a bit aggressive in his ways.
Yeah, but he does. I saw like that video, like some of his videos talking about like explaining like hypergamy and like how women I guess are programmed to go for the man of higher status and that are more established and mature. So
yeah, that's the thing. And they've explained also for men that they don't care what status a woman has, as long as she's more in her prime and can be like loyal to you and be for you, like be your own.
Like if you ask most men don't give a shit about that. Like, oh my god, my girl is like rich. Like, I've never heard a guy say that. Like, no one cares.
No, exactly. It's always the woman who's like, oh my man is this or that. He makes this much.
Yeah.
It's
not being sexist. Like, we're just we're just seeing it how it is. It's just how it is. And
yeah, I think people who get offended by like facts of life just
that pisses me off. It's like, oh my god, women are not like that. Women don't think that way. Come on, they do.
Yeah, they do.
And men men think in another way. Like men, like what they look for in a woman is, let's be honest, a lot of times is like the physical part. Like at first
is the physical, and then how cooperative, how agreeable,
Yeah, then there's all that
that's
stuff.
The thing. Nobody wants a boss beat.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So, like at first, the first like signals, I guess, of attraction are, like
the book covers.
Yeah, that's how it is. But even women look at that, right?
Yeah, can't kill yourself.
And then once you start engaging with a new person, then you discover like if your personality matches with that person's personality, and that's when you decide if that person is good for you or not.
Like the values and everything.
But
in terms of what man and woman look in their partner is different, and we need to admit that they're both not like the same. Women is the status, it's the financial stability, the how much they can provide.
Like the top genus.
The top G. What is your top G level? Were you a lower capital G or capital G? Exactly. And for men is, how nice are you? How agreeable are you? Like, I think that's the thing. Men don't want women who like, always disagree or create drama or like always find something to push against you. Kind of, let you have some leadership and, assert your masculinity.
That's the thing. Like, a lot of times, I feel like men a lot of times are like pretty agreeable in nature. Like, we're not confrontational. Like a lot of times, like in a relationship, we want to have that balance where we could have like a girl that supports us, but she'll get mad once or twice, but like doesn't have to always be like fighting or telling us what to do and shit. Like, I don't think men like that.
They don't like that. That's the thing, because it kind of you become defensive and you're like, don't treat me like a little
like I'm
dog.
Like you're my mom
or yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of times in a relationship,
the woman
tries to be the
mommy
mom.
you're around.
Yeah, which is fine, because sometimes men do need that, because like we said, some men are not mature yet, and maybe having a stable relationship with a girl that provides that could help the guy mature faster. So that's also a good thing. But if the guy's already pretty mature and he's doing well,
Yeah.
like, okay, don't add to that, you know?
Don't like be condescending or be like you know better than him.
Yeah.
Although but women like helping men mature can be a bit tricky there because like it shouldn't be on a person to like help the other mature necessarily.
Yeah, but sometimes like men are just like they fuck around
Or
and
a
it's
bit
like
more childish.
they're being childish just because they want to be childish, not because like they're actually a child.
Childish. Okay.
You know what I mean?
They're just more silly.
They're just silly, and they like myself, for example. Like sometimes I feel like I'm all over the place, and my girlfriend will tell me, "Hey, why the hell are you doing that?" Like, and I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like sometimes it makes sense.
Okay.
And sometimes like I got to think like, does it make sense? Is it not? Like that's up
Okay.
to me to decide. But
Yeah, like the woman can be kind of like what do you call it? Like a stability, like
yeah, it's good. I mean, and that helps, I guess, young men mature faster in the sense where some guys, they like to fuck around, be with a bunch of women and whatever.
but the
if
woman,
yeah.
woman's like an anchor.
right, if you find the right person,
Yeah.
that person's gonna set you straight, and that's a good thing
That's a
because
good
that's
thing
gonna
in that
propel
sense.
you further in life.
Yeah, in that sense, true. Yeah, I agree. Choosing the right person
Exactly.
that will, kind of keep the check, not a check where it's like a mom or, impeding on your freedom and
Yeah.
in your own agency, like how you can act, but just saying, listen, what you did there, maybe not right, or maybe you should, drink less there, or maybe you should
Exactly. See,
mess
that's
around.
that's some kind of positive reinforcement in that sense for
Mm.
men. But I guess there's a limit to that too. So
Yeah. You can't do too much where that's the thing. You take
Yeah.
away that agency of the person. and-
yeah, you gotta let the person grow on his own, but you
Yeah.
also gotta if the person fucking
Derails, you
then
can't.
put him back on the right track, and that's what a good friend or a good partner does.
Mm.
Like I could compare like both really. I don't know. I'm getting a little personal here, but
Yeah.
like both relationships I've had, like the first one, it was like a lot of times I feel like she was trying to like put me in a path where she wasn't letting me grow. Like I was young, and it's like she was trying to like accelerate my growth so much that it like started to piss me off real bad, and she wanted like something else. Whereas now it's like, my girlfriend like puts me in my place when I need to be put in my place, and whenever I fuck off or whatever. But at the same time, I know it's like a positive thing because I don't feel like it's restricting me and shit.
Okay.
So yeah.
That you can still grow on your own.
Yeah, like I have my own hobbies, my own life, but there's not someone that's like telling me, "Hey, you should do this instead," or
or you
like
should, grow up or get a
Grow up,
career
yeah.
soon, or
yeah, exactly,
let's buy a house.
yeah, exactly.
I get it. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure you've had some similar.
Well, yeah. Well, mine was an age gap. The first.
That's true.
So it kind of relates to me as well, where me personally, I found that mine was not a good fit for me, since I was kind of in that situation of this young dude, someone who's older, and they're getting near the time clock is ticking, and you feel the pressure, and it's like, well, got to make up your mind, what are you going to do now? And I was like, oh, yeah, I got this. I'll do this. We'll buy a house soon.
Yeah, I feel like you needed that time to, grow on your own, and now I feel like you're doing that, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think this time was needed, and that's why I'm like not in a rush necessarily, and when it comes, it comes, but I'm definitely aiming younger. That's for sure.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Unless it's like someone, okay, but if it's older, it can't be like more than like a couple or
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, it just depends the person. I
Three
mean,
max.
depends the other person that you're aiming for or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
some people could bring value even though they're older. Like, Just depends.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. But like I said, not more like than 3, I would say.
3 years?
If they're older, yeah. I'm not
Okay.
going more than
I thought you were
that
going to say
anymore.
3 women.
Damn, okay. No. No, I ain't into that polygamy stuff. So. No, yeah. Some more statistics, but this time where the wife is older. So this is American couples.
Interesting. Hugh Jackman. I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, the example here, Hugh Jackman, he's 54, wife is 67. Yeah. So.
That's weird because, like, see, that's a weird one for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, Hugh Jackman is jacked, like, kind of his last name says.
Well, he is,
Yeah.
for Wolverine. And
I mean, yeah, he's, like, you know, a high-quality man, I would say, right? Probably
Yeah.
rich as fuck.
well, yeah.
Probably, you know,
No.
juiced out of his mind.
I don't know to what level. I mean,
I think he talked about it, actually.
Did he?
I think Greg Doucette made a video about it. I think I might be wrong, but
Okay.
I think, like, recently kind of discussed somewhat of what he took. Anyways, that's
yeah.
a side part. But yeah, that's a weird one. It's like he's like a high quality man. He's dating an older woman. He probably has like how many freaking chicks in his DMs or whatever.
Well, okay, yeah, but they've been, I don't know for how long, but it's not like a short relationship. He married her. Yeah, I think he was in his 30s and she was
Well, she
in
was
the 40s. Yeah.
there's what 23 years. Oh no, yeah, 13 years. Sorry.
13, yeah,
13 years
of difference, yeah.
So okay, so let's say 40ish.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So they've been together for a while. It's not like a new relationship. He's not just dating an older woman.
But still, like a guy in his 30s that's like freaking rich, he's an actor, like whatever. You would think that like, yeah, he would date a younger
you
girl,
would think,
whatever.
but in his case,
but
it's
good
the
for him
opposite.
though. Like, I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
like that's the thing. I guess for him, you know, it wasn't that was important. It was,
exactly.
I guess, the
That's a good
person.
thing. I mean, sometimes, yeah, like you got to think about what's outside of, you know, the physical and just realize that there's more in a person than just that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't. But that's the thing. I guess it comes down to goals, right? If I'm not sure if he has kids though, or
I mean, if they met in their 30s, in his 30s, probably.
I think it was in his 30s. I'm not quite sure. But that's the thing. Like, let's say if he wasn't concerned about having kids, and I guess she was past her prime, then yeah, I guess
Yeah,
he just
didn't
looked
matter
at the
too much.
person and said, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I love her." And
He looks pretty good for 54, that's for sure.
yeah, I mean, if we can look like that one for 54, I mean,
I'd be happy.
yeah. So wife's older, 20 years older is only 0.4%. So it's 20 years. Yeah, that's quite a man. I don't think I've seen that in like celebrities.
Okay, so now we're looking at the wife. All right, I just
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no. Well, actually, yeah. The president of France, Emmanuel Macron,
Okay.
his wife, Brigitte Macron, she was, what was she, 25, I think? We're kind of going back. Yeah, 25. Look at that.
Okay, so yeah,
So-
Macron, yeah.
So that is even, you know, the 69 when you're like.
Yeah.
But the relationship with them, what's weirder is that he was 16 and he was in her class. She was a professor at the university.
Oh, it's one of those relationships.
Yeah, it's one of those that started young and then, you know, they kind of got closer as they got older. And then when he was an adult, they decided, to start dating. And that's kind of how it
Interesting.
developed. Oh, yeah, and I think if I remember, Brigitte Macron has daughters that are pretty much the same age as Emmanuel Macron.
That is weird.
Yeah. So that's another thing, right? Of like, let's say if someone already has kids and they're like older and they marry someone young and the kids are almost like the same age as the
Yeah.
young person.
Yeah. I saw a comedy like bit about that once. It was funny. It was like the kid is like the same age as like the stepdad, and he's like, hey, instead of calling him stepdad, it's like step dude or something.
Step dude. Oh
yeah.
no, that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There are situations like that where, either the stepwife, the stepmom or stepdad is like the same age as the kids or close. And you're like, what?
Yeah, it's an interesting one for sure.
That's when it's like, the I'm doing your mom kind of joke is jokes, hits too close to home. But yeah, back to this. So yeah, women being older than men is a bit less in terms of the percentage. So you see 15 to 19 is 0.3%, 10 to 14 is 1%, 6 to 9, 2.8.
It's crazy. The percentages are way lower. Like even for the 2-3 years, right? Like only 6%.
Yeah, even the 2-3 years is only 7%. And if you add all of these percentages, it only comes to around 15%. Which means that 15% of all relationships is where the woman is
older than the man.
Of a year or two, yeah. So yeah, that's a bit more rare. Another factor, this is the third one, is when it comes to power imbalances, right? Older partners can oftentimes take authority in an age gap relationship. And there's always, I think this is what kind of comes to mind when people see, let's say a young girl that's 20 dating, 35-year-old or something. They're like, girl, you got to be careful, he might be using you, he might be like taking control over you and all that kind of thing.
Or you could think the opposite. I mean, is like
or the opposite.
Yeah, like, oh, you're dating a young girl, is she using you for your money? Is she,
oh yeah, or yeah, that too. Yeah, true. The reverse.
Yeah. Look at it both ways.
True. Yeah, so the partner that sees themselves as more mature, more financially stable, more power status, they could take charge of decisions, right? Let's say you're the one who owns the house, the car, has the money. You're like, well, shut up, you don't bring anything to the table.
Right.
So yeah. So a question here, how does one navigate a relationship where an older partner takes authority?
Well, yeah, I guess you have to like sit down with yourself and try to realize if the person's toxic and is just, trying to take advantage of you. I mean, that's what it comes down to, I think.
Yeah.
If you do have some freaking, concrete evidence that the person is literally taking advantage of you, like, who knows, freaking cheating on you or doing all kinds of shit behind your back. Then,
let's say not cheap, but yeah, like they're basically the boss.
Okay, so just confining it to, well, I mean, if the person is just, trying to take advantage of you and, always telling you that, I'm the boss around here, like you don't contribute to anything in this house or whatever, then why the hell are you with the person,
Okay. So there should, I guess, always be, communication, even if someone is, more in charge.
Not just communication with the other person. I mean, communication with yourself too. Like, do you deserve better? Okay, sure. The guy is like, let's say it's a girl. That's the victim here.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the guy is like a high value man. He has a lot of money. He, he has a lot going for him. Okay, does he bring you more than just that? Does he bring you like comfort? Does he love you? Does he
actually like care for you or
exactly
acknowledge your feelings?
Or does he just pay for your fucking purse or something?
Yeah, a lot of times it is that though, right? The sugar daddy stereotype or sugar mommy. It's just shut up, take the money, and do what I say.
Do what I say.
Yeah. So oftentimes, that's why you got to look past sort of those markers of, it's more well, yeah, money is important, but it shouldn't be the sole aspect.
And we're seeing a lot actually in this discussion that, a lot of this topic is going around money, but a lot of times, that's what dictates the whole thing, right?
Yeah, that's what pulls the person, but then they get trapped.
Yeah,
and then they're like, "Well, I don't need this mansion. What is this gonna?"
Yeah, what is this gonna do? All right, I have a fucking mansion, but I'm not happy.
No. Yeah. So yeah, and then to follow that, is if your partner is way older than you, are their opinion more valid?
I guess that's also the power thing, right? I mean, if the person always is always saying like, oh, I bring back, I'm more powerful, I'm older, I have more money, it doesn't mean that his opinion is always right. Like, that's just not how it works.
As in, they would say, well, I have more experience, I know what's best for us, you let me decide.
Exactly. That's not true.
No.
Just because your bank account says that you have more money than me doesn't mean you're always right.
No, not in terms of like just money. I mean like older. Let's say, someone who's 40 dating a 20-year-old, let's say. Like pretty young, right?
Okay. So just say age, wisdom, let's say, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, like experience, life experience and wisdom.
Well, no, it's like when your parents, right? Your parents are older, right? They tell you something. Are they necessarily right? No.
Yeah.
I'm 20 something. I have a mind of my own. Like, I'm not a kid anymore. I have my opinion. It could be.
Okay, so that person's opinion should also be taken into account. Yeah. Okay.
And sometimes the younger person has a fresher perspective, right?
True. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, because a lot of times people who are older, they have this assumption: I'm older, I have more experience, thus I know more.
Yeah,
right?
And that's often the downfall of a lot of things in life, like especially like in business, right? You see that a lot. You see like older employees and executives that have been there for years, and they don't want to have any change and whatever, and then everything goes to shit because they don't want to adapt to the new generation and the new things of just new society, basically, new way of dealing with business and stuff.
So I guess in a way, like, yes, an older person can have more wisdom in maybe certain aspects. Let's say they're going to buy a house together. Maybe this person has already bought a couple of houses before, and they have kind of more experience in that. So the woman who's the younger might be like, okay, I trust in your decision, I'll let you decide here. But they still communicate, where it's not like, I'm gonna decide, you shut up and sit down.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the person has a real like concrete evidence that he's more, I guess, inclined to give a better opinion in this case, then sure, listen, learn from that person.
Learn from that,
yeah.
But that person should also.
But that person should listen to you.
Yeah. So just because you're young doesn't mean you have nothing to bring to the table.
Yeah, exactly. Some young people have some of the brightest ideas, because they have a fresh perspective of what's happening in the world.
Okay.
Kind of like us in this podcast.
Exactly.
We have fresh perspective.
Always, exchanging. Yeah, you always have to be open. That's the thing, As soon as you close your mind to learning from whomever, you're kind of done. Like, what else do you have in life if you don't want to grow and learn?
So I guess it's a two-way street, right? It's like, if you're young, you should learn from other people that have an opinion. And if you're old, then listen to the younger generation, because you could learn from them too.
You could also add to your already established knowledge. Yeah. Good. Cool. Alrighty. And then the last factor at play here is when it comes to end of life concerns, which we kind of touched upon before regarding the health thing. But this is when the partner is way younger than the other person, and then there's a risk of them being left alone at a younger age once the partner passes away. So this is when the partner is, getting close to dying, basically. So you must consider, old age and possible death if they're significantly older than them. Arrangements can be made to make the process easier for the widower. But so why do some people get in a relationship with people 20 to 30 years older than them, knowing that they will pass sooner and leave them alone?
Okay, so now we're looking at like longevity, I guess, like perspective.
Yeah, in terms of like, okay, you're getting into this relationship, but how long is this relationship gonna last? Yeah. Like let's say you're in your 30. Let's say you're 40 and the person is like 30 years older than you. So what is that?
I mean, this is 70. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, let's say 70. So you're like, what, left maybe 5 to 10? So it's almost like you might have to restart again and have another relationship after that. So should you get into a relationship or not?
Yeah, I guess it's a pretty good question, actually. It's also kind of harder to answer than the last one, I would say.
Is love just enough?
Yeah, and I was going to give that as an answer. I mean, like, I guess at that point, it's like you love the person and you figure, look, I'll be with the person for how long
For as
we
long as they
can, and it'll be what it'll be. The person
Okay.
will die when he'll die.
Okay. So I guess for some people, like the longevity of the relationship is not as important than the love
The
they
love
share.
itself, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's my perspective, I guess.
Yeah, I think people might differ on this. I would say most people would want to be with someone as long as they can. If someone they really love, not just be like, okay, even this is for a day, you're gonna die, in a day.
Yeah, see, that's a good point, right? Like, let's say,
Or let's say a year,
yeah, that's
just a year.
yeah, and I think that's those are things that happen, right? I mean, let's say, I don't know, freaking hypothetical situation here. Like, let's say you meet someone on Tinder or whatever the fuck people do nowadays. You go on Tinder and you meet someone.
Yeah.
You really like the person.
Yeah.
The person doesn't tell you anything for a while. That
Oh damn.
they're sick as fuck. And then, you start getting into a relationship and
Terminal
everything.
4 cancer.
Yeah, and then they're like, I have fucking stage 4 cancer. What do you do?
Bruh.
It's like, it's fucking bad. But I'm
Yeah,
sure it's happened. Like,
Damn. Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, maybe some people were like, they don't want to like die alone kind of thing. They want to be with someone or get laid before they die kind of thing.
oh man, that's tough, man.
But that's rough though,
that's so rough.
Because you're forcing the person to pity you.
Yeah, but at that point, if you're that person that's ill, right? Do you go on Tinder and try to match with someone? Like, is that like?
Is that like ethical?
Is it good, like ethical?
That's a good question. Welcome to Philosophically Deep.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, that's an interesting question. It's like, if you're like really sick, like maybe you don't know that you're gonna die, but there might be a chance.
Let's say you know that you're fucked. Let's say, like, you are done.
Should you
Yeah.
like, are you allowed to date?
I mean, you definitely are allowed.
I guess you're
but,
allowed
like,
to do it. It's just you have to be transparent. That's the thing.
That's the thing. You'd have to be like freaking
This is-
open about it. Like, if you don't want to hurt the other person, you'd be like, look, this is the situation. I'm about to die.
So if you want to love me, but
Yeah.
It's
If
not
you want
gonna-
something to happen, like, it'll happen for the time it lasts. But if not, then
nothing.
I
Yeah.
understand because I see what, like, the circumstances.
Yeah. I have seen those situations where, like, let's say the guy was terminally ill and then the girl, like, they quickly, like, get married. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I've seen those.
Where the guy's, like, handicapped or whatever.
Like
and
in
they
their
put
deathbed, literally.
Yeah, literally at the hospital, they get married. Like, yeah, that's pretty honorable and,
Yeah, that's insane.
it's hard. I don't think a lot of people would do that, but I guess the love is so strong that they're like till death do us apart.
Yeah.
Really. But yeah, someone who is. I mean, listen, anyone can date, but you just got to be transparent.
Yeah, you'd have no choice. I mean, you could be a dick about it and just not say anything.
Yeah, but that's shitty.
But that's shitty. Yeah.
That's not right for the other person because they have a right to know. But that's the thing, though. In our current, like, modern times, not just with that, though, with a lot of stuff people like to hide. Even with heights, like a lot of like dudes are, they're like, oh, I'm like,
self-conscious.
5'10", but they're actually like 5'6" or something.
Yeah.
Or other things, or let's say, let's say you were a man before, and now you're a woman, and you just pretend to be you say you identify as a woman, but you never tell the person. That's the thing. Should a person tell they were a man before?
See, yeah, that's another one.
That's another one.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty weird too. See, I think that's another thing that the other person has the right to know.
But these people, they would say, oh, no, I'm a woman now.
I was born.
I was born a woman.
I was secretly a woman when I was born.
I am a woman. It's just what I have here between my legs. This shouldn't be here. This was an error in the coding. It shouldn't. But no, like me, I disagree. What you were born with, you were born with. Whether you like it or not, I think the person has a right to know.
Yeah. It's weird. Did you ever hear those, like, it always happens in movies where, like, some guy, like, he tries to, like, he's going with a woman, they're about to, like, get it on, and then he pulls down the pants and it's like,
my God.
so,
Like, what?
Yeah.
Hold up. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
You want to avoid that situation.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you shouldn't assume that they should just accept you. No, you know. So yeah, in the same way that someone is sick, definitely.
Yeah. That was
tell them.
interesting.
Yeah, that was some interesting tangents and
Yeah.
questions. But yeah, kind of back to this year. So again, it's a choice. If you want to date someone that's soon, let's say, going to pass away or they don't have long left, in my opinion, I find, I don't know. I want someone that I can, get old with, and we both, pass away in, the same time, or
Same
like
time, yeah.
that you're not like, you're 50 and they passed away and you're like, okay, what am I doing now?
Yeah. That happens to a lot of people. It's crazy. Like even in my family, like I know people that like, lost their.
Well, yeah, but I guess that's different though, because you didn't initially marry into or get into a relationship
Yeah.
knowing that that's,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was just like circumstantial, I guess, right? I mean,
yeah,
it happened that way.
yeah, exactly. But, there are people who just love so much that they're like, even in 10 years, if you're going to die,
Yeah.
it's like I would do it all over again.
Yeah, but see, sometimes you don't even know. Sometimes you're dating someone like way older than you, and then that person still fucking outlives you.
Or
That's possible
or
too.
it's the opposite.
Yeah, that could happen as well. So like sometimes it just depends, the circumstances.
Yeah.
Really.
It's up to the person to judge, yeah. All right, so just before we go to our closing thoughts, here's a fun fact. The person who had one of the biggest age gaps was Gertrude Grubb Janeway, born in July 3rd, 1909. She was 18 when she married 81-year-old Union Civil War veteran John Janeway
That is
on 9th of June,
interesting.
1927. An age difference of 63 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is intense. So, she was the last Union widow of a Civil War veteran. She died 17 January 2003, age 93.
She lived a pretty long life too.
Yeah, she lived a long life, and but she did marry young with a very old man.
Yeah.
But I've read into this, and a lot of the time, what happened is that women, like young women, used to marry these old Civil War veterans because they receive a pension, and the widower will keep receiving that pension.
There you go. There's always a monetary incentive somewhere.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure for her again if it was just for that. I think that was part of the reason as well.
Probably something like that. I mean,
Because what's like
what's in it for
what are you
Like,
relating to an 81-year-old man?
Doesn't really make sense.
That's a bit weird.
But it's sad. Like I don't know, man. I find it just sad that like some people they resort to that kind of thing. It's like I'm choosing a partner because I'll be stable, like monetarily down the line. Like that's the only
like let's say
freaking.
they got investments and
Yeah.
all receive the money, or
That's it. Like
it's like that's your purpose.
that's what you're aiming for with your
Just
relationship or your life. I mean, yeah.
yeah. Okay,
it's
you can
weird.
buy shit. Okay,
All right, good for you.
you have a big TV.
She didn't even fucking have a TV back then. She was fucking born in 1909. Like,
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
no, I know you. No, I'm not saying anything what you said. I'm just, it's like, what do you want to buy? Like, I don't know.
No. Well, apparently, I think they lived a very simple life, though. Like, they lived, like, in some cabin in the forest or,
Okay.
like, pretty... but, yeah, I guess she did benefit from the pension, obviously. Yeah, and a lot of other women did that. And it was kind of like a loophole in a way. Oh, let me get married with an older man. They're going to die soon anyways. And I'll get the pension. So, yeah.
Crazy.
Anyways, closing thoughts, right? Just to wrap it up. So, in every sort of relationship, there always needs to be, respect, trust, and communication, right? So, no matter the age, if those things are not there, then you can't really work it out. Even if you guys are the same age, doesn't matter. But yeah, I think from what we saw is that age gap relationships have like specific challenges that you need to overcome. for it to work. Doesn't mean like age gap relationships are always like worse or like they're harder to make work, but they have their own set of challenges.
Like every relationship has a set of challenges, but I guess when you have like 20 years between the two people,
it's another thing to deal with.
Tricky, yeah.
But it is a taboo in our society because of those challenges and points of conflict. So, like, I can understand, people who present themselves as a young dude with an older lady in his arm. You're like, there's always judgments and is he? What do they say for the woman? You're stealing the baby from the cradle or something.
I've heard that before.
Yeah. Or sugar mommy, sugar daddy, whatever term you want to use. Oh, she's a MILF. That's what you're going for.
Yeah, that's the teenager fucking talk.
Yeah. So yeah, but as long as both people, they're adults and they're aware of what they're getting into, not being taken advantage of, then yeah, I guess there isn't inherently anything wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not like that's wrong. You can't date someone this older than you.
There are no rules. I mean, it's whatever makes you happy, but at the same time, just be mindful, right?
I would say the only line is when it comes to, a teenager or really young person, right?
Oh yeah, obviously not.
In that
you
sense.
can't go down that path. I mean,
yeah, like you're 20 dating a 14-year-old, even though the age gap is not that huge, but it is in that sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the age gap gets freaking exponentially bigger if the person's young, I guess.
Yeah, true, exactly, yeah. Like Steven Tyler, when he was 39, he couldn't have dated his girlfriend who was just newborn.
Yeah, that's weird, man. That's a weird one.
But I always think like that. I'm always like, so he's 30 weird. And she was born. How does that sound?
Yeah, could be her dad, basically. Like,
yeah.
39 and 0, basically.
Even at like 25 years of difference, you could still be a dad.
Yeah.
So,
it's pretty weird.
Anything else to add from your end, or?
No, it was an interesting one. I didn't expect you to go like I didn't think you were gonna bring it down that route kind of thing, because I thought we were gonna talk about like those specific couples for some reason. You thought it was gonna be, but I like the way you presented it. It was more interesting to talk about the specifics of it.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about like the challenges in general of that relationship. Not like, a critique like, oh, Nick Jonas, what do you think of him dating?
Exactly. That'd be, I guess, also judging those people that we don't even know. So did it really
exactly.
make sense?
I don't know each person's situation separately. So
the only like relationship we could judge is like Will Smith and like his wife.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
No, we're joking. Obviously not. I mean, they have their issues as well. Like every couple has fucking problems. Like just like the song,
age gap or not, just like the song.
Yeah, the song "Fucking Problems."
Oh, I got 99 problems, but an age gap ain't one. Yeah. So to bring back home is whether age gap or not, every relationship has. Maybe some relationships that have smaller age gaps have worse problems than older ones.
For sure.
But to finally answer the main question, is age really just a number?
I guess it's not, right? No. I mean, you can't just look at it that way. Yeah. It's kind of stupid. Like, it's weird to think that, first of all, if we go, if it was just a number, then there would be that thing with the younger kids.
Yeah, which exactly. Already there.
You draw the line there. That doesn't work. So already it's not a number. Yeah. And then if you go in the legal situations, right? Like like legal adults dating another legal adult, then you have to look at, is there a benefit to be dating such an older person compared to your current age, or dating a younger person? Is there a benefit there? Mm-hmm. Are you compatible with the other person despite the person being way older than you? Mm-hmm. sometimes dating an older person, like a way older person, can be better than dating a toxic person that's the same age as you too.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so age is not just a number. I think just, bar none, it's really, there are other things to consider. You can't just say, oh, it's just a number, whatever it is, I'll take it. No, it does have some impact, and you have to consider that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so I
Yeah, that
think
was a fun one.
concludes it. So thank you guys for watching this episode. We will be back with some more. Right.
Can't wait.
So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more. We do also release our podcasts on all the streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcast, all that good stuff. And yeah, we will catch you guys next time very soon.
Yeah. See you guys on the next one. Was a fun one.
Yes, sir.
All right, play us out. Let's go.
Bye.